Next question is from C. Smith 731. What are some tips for a person new to the gym that feels social anxiety or intimidation in the weight room?
Yeah, I don't have like a straight up like silver bullet answer here. I will say this, because I get this, right? I get it. I dealt with this a lot, not personally, but with, people in the gyms that I would manage and run. And it was more often than not women, but you would see guys sometimes too who'd feel this way, especially going into like a weight room or something like that.
Sure.
And, number one, nobody cares. And I don't mean like nobody cares what you're saying right now. I mean, nobody really cares about you working out in the gym. Gyms are the most supportive places you'll ever find for anybody who's trying to change their fitness, their health, or whatever. So you go in the most hardcore gym and you have zero experience and you go try and work out and you're not going to be judged. If anything, people are going to be very supportive and helpful. But that might not help you. You might think that and be like, I'm still intimidated. To which I say this, and really the only answer is you just keep going. It's exposure. Like anything that gives you anxiety,
immerse yourself in it.
Isn't that the answer for, anything? It doesn't matter. To me, the fact that we're talking about, having anxiety going to the gym is no different than you have anxiety about starting a business. You have anxiety about tests. You have anxiety.
Public speaking.
The best.
Going to a party with people you don't know.
That's right. The best recipe for that is to own it and face it, is to admit that this gives me anxiety. This is very difficult for me to do, and therefore I'm going to do it. And, and then when the worst case scenario happens, if someone does make fun of you or someone, again, own it. Like, yeah, man, I'm super new to this and this gives me lots of anxiety and I'm trying to work through that. I tell you what, if someone says something to you that's rude or mean and you respond with being honest, that it does give you, they are going to feel like a piece of shit. And I guarantee that'll never happen again.
It won't happen in a gym though.
It won't though. Yeah, it's so.
And it'll self-correct.
I mean, I hate to say it won't or it's impossible because anything is possible and there is
the least likely place to get criticized.
I agree.
For trying is a gym.
I totally agree. So I mean, I think that it's one of those fears that you have, but it's one of those ones that if you actually go after it, you'll be pleasantly surprised at the response you end up getting.
You have to go in with like no question's a dumb question at that point and just kind of own that fact. Like I would say like too, to get over some of that, just try and find somebody, just ask them a question like what do they do in here? What's worked best for them, and just like try and like connect with somebody else. So that way, like you feel like you're starting to kind of make strides towards being involved and looking at it more as a community and less of like a foreign place where like you're this outsider. So however you can do that. And like, this coming from the person that's like the least likely to want to go out and just, hey, like have small talk with people. That was a struggle for me starting my entire career. So, but it just took those steps. Like one step, I'm going to say hi to the front desk and I'm excited to be here, whatever. Whatever that is, you open yourself up to having conversations with people. You become more involved with the community. It feels less foreign and then you enjoy it.
Now, my experience with this is it doesn't tend to last very long. Like if you go to the gym 2 or 3 days a week, you're probably going to feel some anxiety for about the first month or two, and then it kind of goes away because you've been going every single week and you'll have your routine and you'll know where you're going and what you're doing. That being said, if it feels debilitating, if your anxiety or fear of going into the gym is really preventing you from improving your health, one of the best investments you can make is hiring a trainer by far. Now you have a guide and they're walking you through and they're taking you through and they're showing you what to do and you're learning through that process.
And you're hanging out with the most popular people in the gym.
And you're hanging out with the authorities in the gym, right? Those are the authorities in the gym.
Usually the trainers ones too.
And listen, I mean, I don't know how about you guys. How many times did you guys get clients who hired you because they were scared? They were intimidated by the gym.
I think this is I think it's pretty common. I also think that this is a big reason why CrossFit did so good because they did a very good job of building community and making people
the welcoming committee was there.
Yeah. I mean, but you made a really good point. I mean, it's like you go into a new school or you have
to just expose yourself.
Yeah, you don't want to just go there, work out, and mind your own business, never talk. But I mean, you want to have a place that you feel like home and a community, and maybe that is how you decide the gym that you choose to. In most places, unless you're somewhere super rural, there's multiple gyms in your area, and find the one that feels the most welcoming and that, you walk in and the front desk person smiles and greets you, or maybe someone who works there says hi to you, or a member greets you. Like, I mean, I think that stuff matters when it comes to being consistent and enjoying the process. But I think approaching it as like you are wanting to join this community, so don't be afraid to say hi.
I never experienced this in a weight room because I had been working out as a kid on my own for a few years in the backyard and just obsessed over reading. So I felt like as soon as I walked in, I felt at home. But I did experience this as an adult taking yoga. I actually took yoga for probably about 6 months. And I remember I walked in and I couldn't have felt more out of place. Like I was like a muscle bound dude or whatever. And it was all these, kind of posh, middle-aged women and their Lululemon stuff. I'm the only dude in there, or maybe one other guy in there. And the looks, like a lot of people were looking at me like, who's this guy? Why is he here? Like whatever. Mm-hmm. And I'll never forget, it was probably this first or second class. And this was a wonderful reflection on how not to run a class or how not to make people feel welcome. I was trying to do the poses. I'm totally new to this and I'm owning it. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm trying, I'm doing what I can. I'm struggling, I'm sweating. And the instructor, I'm trying to do a position and she giggles and she goes, oh, that's, no, you don't do it that way. And she walks over and I'm thinking in my head like, bitch, you just fucking laugh at me in front of the whole class. But I'm a confident person. So I'm like, whatever. But I remember thinking to myself like, man, if you were a trainer in my gym, I'd fire your ass for doing that. Like to make someone feel that way. Yeah. Or to try to make someone feel that way.
Well, that's why I don't think it's safe for us to say that like it's impossible that this person could not have an experience.
I'm going to tell you something right now.
I think it's better.
I'm going to tell you something right now. Here we go. Since we're pissing people off in this episode, I'm going to say something right now. Hardcore weight rooms are the most accepting fitness places in the world, far more accepting than yoga studios and Pilates studios and aerobics classes and any other fitness anything.
Oh yeah,
they are the most accepting places, and anybody who's been into any of those or multiple of those will tell you this.
Yeah, no.
Those
are way more clicky.
100%.
Sure. I remember the first time I actually went into one. I'll never forget. It was funny because I didn't know this was even a thing. It was my first yoga class that I took in that, and I got there really early. Right, I want to make sure I was there early so I didn't miss anything or whatever, and. I roll my mat out where I'm going to be and stuff like that. And then the ladies start to come in and someone walks up, like a couple ladies are looking at me all kind of crazy. And at first I'm thinking the same thing. Oh, they're looking at me because I'm the buff dude, right? And they're like, is that your mat? And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, yeah, that's Susie's spot. And I'm like, oh.
They already had their spot.
Oh yeah. Like they have like when
they said it to you like that?
Oh yeah. It was like, that ain't your spot. Like that's, and so they like there's people that come there so regular that they have their spots inside of, an open gym floor where they go every single time. I thought that was really interesting. I was
That's funny.
I didn't even know that was a thing,
I was going to just ask like what the move is because like, are you the creep that's in the back, like, waiting for the downward dog, or are you up the front?
I actually took the front, right? Because I wanted to learn, right? And one of my trainers was the yoga instructor at the time. And so I was taking the class, but
yeah, that's right. You were trying to be a yoga instructor at one point.
Yeah.
I will say this though.
So sad that didn't turn out.
Hey, to the defense though, I will say this. I've also been to yoga classes that were really exemplified what the whole thing with yoga was, which is this is your own practice, take it at your own pace.
It's a great practice. I mean, extremely just like anything else, it can be pretentious if the the culture is like that.
You know what I think it is? I think it's because you're a big dude and people maybe think like, oh, I can make him feel stupid because he's a big guy and he can take it. I don't know.
Oh, I think it's more that
because I've seen
if you're most people that are hardcore into yoga are they view big muscle bound meatheads as the opposite of what they want.
You guys said that about CrossFit. I had the exact opposite experience. Like, so
it was very
they're a bunch of dicks. Like going in there, it's like if you didn't know like the specific move or if you didn't know it was on the board to do, like and they wouldn't even help you, and they would just like mock you.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so that really turned me off. And to begin with, I was just there supporting a friend because he was like starting his own kind of club. But
do you think it had any idea, any bit of that had to do with like your attitude going into it already? Like you were like, fuck this place.
I mean, no, I was trying to hide that. Trust me. And like I was like already immediately I was mocking.
Let me give you a little insight about yourself,
their
Justin.
Stupid socks.
When you're trying to hide something the way you really feel, you don't do a very good job of hiding how you really feel inside.
You have a resting bitch face.
Nobody said hi.
Yes, you do, bro. Anybody we've ever done shit with that you don't like, you do a very bad job of faking it.
He's as authentic. He's the most authentic
Well,
person.
you know it then.
Yeah, so
The most authentic person. You
so
know what
that's
else?
my read on that is you walked into the CrossFit already like, fuck this place.
Okay, I'll take that, but also like, oh, they're so nice, and that was not my experience at all.
Well, the other thing too is if you're quiet, you're not if you're being dickish. If you're just quiet, like you look like a big angry dude. So that's probably what they're thinking, right?
Yeah.
Even if you're not being that.
I've got that, even from clients that were like intimidated to ask me questions, or like before they were my client, like they're like, I didn't know if I could because just the way that my resting bitch face.
Well, and you're so
it's
attractive
real.
too, so that's always makes it more
It's
difficult.
hard to approach people that are like very.
Brad Pitt.
The irony is he's such a kind.
Very handsome.
I'm gonna come to your defense. You're like the kind. You're such a no. You are fucking no. You act like it. You're like the kindest person. That's the truth.